we? Where are we? What's going on? No video. Oh man. Let's do. After all that and no video. Well, hold on. We're gonna try and figure this out real quick. Let's do this. Let's do this. Live broadcasting, so much fun. 5, 2, and we're gonna do Mediocre. That. Look at there. Okay. Alright. Let's double check to make sure we are actually. And I think we're good now. I think we're good. Alright. I'm going to either assume I'm good or I'm absolutely talking to myself. One of the two. Either way it's fine. Either way is fine. Welcome to another Mediocre Modeler Live. Obviously I've got a few bugs that I need to work out, but I think we started off a little bit better than we do. I'm sure I definitely like the image quality. Let's see if we can get you out of the way a little bit. There you go. Alright. Much better. Okay. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to anyone who's turning in right now. Also wanted to thank, I was looking at my subscriptions on YouTube, and I'm at 250, and I forgot to say something at 200, and I'm at 250, and I really appreciate every one of you subscribers. It's been a fun ride. You keep pushing me to continue to make more and do more and show more, and it's fun, and I really appreciate the challenge that you're giving me, and I really hope you find it entertaining. Okay, so why are we here? Well, actually, the reason we're here is we're here to kind of talk about Lost in Space. The new season 3 of Lost in Space is going to be airing on December the 1st, and a lot of the Lost in Space models that I have from the original series have been built before I did my channel, so there would never be. What better time would there be to talk about space? I would like to think that if you're here, you are, but just in case. Lost in Space, story of the Robinson family. I mean, the original concept was like the Swiss Family Robinson. You know, they got on the ship and they ended up on the island and blah blah blah. So they just took the Swiss Family Robinson idea and then moved them into space. The original series came out back in the 60s, and the thing I really liked about Lost in Space was it was a family against the elements, you know, and no matter what trials and tribulations they had, they were always they mostly worked as a cohesive unit to try and solve the problems. And it was a feel good, you know, it was feel good sci-fi, which is, you know, you could arguably say most of the sci-fi from that era was kind of feel good sci-fi, you know, but that's not the point. So how did they get around? They got around on the Jupiter 2, all right? So, like I said, the Jupiter 2, it's it's the ship of the time. It looks like a flying saucer. Why we would want to make a ship look like a flying saucer to fly around, I don't know. I think this was I wasn't around back then, despite how old I may look, but I would like to think maybe this was a departure from a lot of the other ships we were seeing, because maybe coming out of the 50s, the ships from the sci-fi shows in the 50s looked like rocket ships. I can only assume. So this model was made by Mobius, and it's a really good detailed model. Let's see if I can get you. We're going to go to 2. All right. So it's not enough that you just got the outer shape. This kid, you get the inner. The inside of the kit as well. So you've got the main deck, and you've got their cryogenic chambers, one for each individual on the crew, and then you've got the bridge or whatever. And then if I can remember, yeah, okay. And so you've got all that, and then this part lifts out, and you get the lower decks. So. Okay, let me put it like here. You had is an elevator, right? And so you have the continuation of the elevator right here, and this is where they slept and they had their meals, and here was the medical bay, I do believe, and now right here should be the door to the pod to their shuttlecraft vehicle. We don't get to see that until season 3, because they spend the first 2 seasons being crashed on a planet trying to get off the planet for one reason or another. Something happens, and let's see here. For some reason or another, the planet's going through some tectonic thing or whatever, and they have to get off the planet. So for the first 2 seasons, you really don't get to see the landing gear. Let's flip around. The landing gear at all, which I always thought the landing gear was cool. I just noticed that there's a piece here that I haven't put on, and the reason I haven't put it on yet is because you can actually get a light kit to put in there, because it was a series of lights that went around in a circle, and chased. And I've always thought, well, I'm going to put that in there someday, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So we're going to put you back in here like that. But you know what? A family flying around in a flying saucer? Sure, why not? I mean, how fun is that? Now, the problem the Jupiter 2 always provided a spatial problem for me, because here, let's get you lined up the way you're supposed to be. Okay. Put you back on there. And then put you. So, like I said, we didn't get to it until season 3. However, you had the pod where it's off to the side. So you had the pot. Oh, I shouldn't have taken that away yet. So you had the pot. Now, I always thought this was an awkward but really cool design. And it's based on basically the lunar module of the time. This was the 60s, we were in the space race. We were going to the moon. So a lot of this stuff is kind of based on the lunar lander concept. And you can see it with the jets there, and it just looks like something that you would from the 60s. It's just, and and this model kit is also made by Mobius Models, and it's just a great kit. It's a great size. I think they had also come out with some Johnny Lightnings kits that you could, the little Johnny Lightnings, but for a model builder, man, this was it. Does it open? Yes. So let's see here. All right, let's go back to the other camera. So you can see down in there, very little bit. It had the two handle joysticks to fly it. They stood in it. So the spatial problem for me was this was supposed to fit up into the bottom of the Jupiter 2 in the back, and there you see a couple of times where it's coming out and it comes back, and just when you look at the spatial size, you're just like, there's no way that thing's gonna fit in there. It just doesn't work. But I love it. I still love it. Then on top of that, every once in a while you would have the robot go with them in the pod. Okay. The robot is on. Hold on. Stand by. Okay. You got the robot, and you can see the robot is on these rolling tracks. There's no way, there's no way possible that he's going to get out of this once they're on the planet. Now, they got around it story-wise. What would happen was they would show them landed, and then they would be out of the pod. Okay, whatever. But it was the 60s. What are you going to do? But we'll talk about the robot again in a minute. Okay. So, but one of my favorite pieces. Let's go back. One of my favorite pieces from Lost in Space was the chariot. And again, another Mobius kit. This thing is amazing. It's just perfectly detailed. I mean, they got every piece of this thing right, as far as I'm. Let me qualify that statement. They got every piece of this thing right because before this, the only chariot, as far as I know, that you had was the one out of this set. Okay, and God love them. So you had the Cyclops creature that they would run into, and he would throw rocks at him, and he was a giant, right? They would travel around the planets in the chariot, and if I was a kid in the 60s or whatever, whenever this kit came out, maybe it had to be because it was like an Aurora Polar Lights kit or whatever. This is all they had, right? Let's go the other way. So this is all they had, all right? And this is really good for what it is. It's not very big, but it gets all the elements in. It's the right shape. If you wanted to, you could do some other things to paint it, but it's good. Unfortunately, it's so out of scale with everything else in this little diorama. It's not funny. You can't even get all the people comfortably in that. There's just no way. Even if it were the roof was off and it was an open roof top thing, you could get them all in there. And you know what? The whole family's not even there. Yeah, they were screwed. They were totally screwed. And on top of that, they're fighting the Cyclops. And if you look in the back there, see, robot robot is in the chariot. Well, the problem with that is robot can shoot lightning, electricity out of his claws, you know? Why aren't you out there, shooting at Cyclops? But again, another situation where they just didn't talk about it. Let's go back. Come on there. Robot would occasionally ride with them in the chariot, in the back, and the only way to get into this thing is like up the ladder and in one of these sides. Robot's not climbing that. It's not gonna happen. They would just, I guess he would just miraculously be in there, and when they got where they were going, he would be out. Now, granted, like I said, it was the '60s, and they could get away with that kind of stuff, and it was fun. Now, I've added, I think I added this. Yeah, this is just like a little toolbox out of an armor kit. I think I had a few more pieces that go, because I wanted it to look a little bit more like they were going to go on a trip. But I think I like well, boy, man, I'm telling you, I like the show, but I think these two pieces, these are my two favorite. And it took to season 3 before we got there. Okay, yeah. I think those are evenly split. But, I think I love them too. And then you would follow this up with Robot. And again, that is another Mobius kit. I think there's even a big one. There are guys out there, much like the R2 Builder Club. They're a robot builders club, and they've been to Wonderfest a couple of times, and these guys are building these things 1-to-1 scale, and they're just magnificent. If I had enough space and I had the money, I might attempt to build one just for the challenge, and then I'd follow that up with an R2. But luckily, I don't have the space or the money, and I think someone might not be very happy with that. If you are a fan of the show, I one of the things I do like that they included the circuit board there, because whenever Robot was getting ready to do something that Dr. Smith didn't like, he was going to go tell on him or whatever, he just pulled that power pack out and he went down. I'm glad they added it. I did this kind of a while back. Now that I'm looking at it, I think there were a couple of pieces that are missing. He had two little flat football shaped things on these side pieces. If I remember correctly, like one here and one here, and one was vertical and one was horizontal. See, I didn't paint all the light pan on those two. The big lights are white, and then all those little lights were a bunch of different colors. This must have been back in my slap it together and put it on the shelf phase. And this isn't the whole model. Stand by. Okay, yeah. So this kit it comes with this base, and so she just pops up there like that, and here she sits. All right, that's good. Now, and here's what I was saying. So the big kit is missing these two pieces right here. It was just a football, like an oval shaped piece. One was vertical and one was horizontal. I'm so really surprised they. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to recheck that because there are holes there for that. God, I bet I missed those. I bet they were in that. I bet they were in the kit, and I just didn't. I didn't see them. We're gonna have to fix that. But this is the robot that's in scale with the chariot, and I think it's great that they came out with it. This would be one of those situations where I would definitely look into finding a 3D printed in scale Robinson family to go with this. Definitely one of my favorite pieces as far as old sci-fi. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do another live, probably maybe next Saturday, and we'll go into the movie models for Lost in Space, and then we can start. By that time, we should be able to talk about the new Lost. If you're not watching the new Lost in Space, okay, this goes back to what I was talking about on the. Oh, hey! Oh, sorry, I forgot to check my chat. Okay, Kyle Watson. Hey, hey, what's up, buddy? And GarageBand Cave. Greetings from Minneapolis. I bet it's cold up there. So the thing I don't like about let me rephrase that. Oh, let's switch. Okay, so I liked Lost in Space for what it was. It was sci-fi of the 60s. It was the family against the world. They're out there and they have their little family issues and everything. But you always felt like they were on the same team working together to solve the problem, except for Dr. Smith. And the new Lost in Space, it kind of suffers from the same problem that the Battlestar Galactica original and remix do. It's the same thing. The original Battlestar Galactica it felt like a family and an extended family, and they all were there fighting the same enemy, trying to survive. And then you fast forward to the reimagined Galactica, and it's like everybody hated everybody, and you're like, this just isn't going to work. The first couple of episodes of Lost in Space feel a little bit like that. Don't let that deter you, because you get into some really good sci-fi. You get some really good, and it makes for a lot of good character development. I think the one person it took me the longest to actually kind of be okay with is Don, and because he's integral but not quite really integral to you really care about the Robinson family itself. So if you're not watching it, you've got plenty of time to get season 1 and season 2 out there. It's good. It's good sci-fi. So anyway, I think this went pretty well. I'm gonna call it good in my book. But until next time, we're going to. So for the next time, I'll figure out when we're going to do that, and then we will talk about the Lost in Space movie stuff. So until then, I say to you, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Pew 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 pew.